Good afternoon and welcome to the Dayton Flyers Hockey YouTube channel. Stand by for senior night as the Dayton Flyers will be taking on the Ohio State Buckeye Club team. Stay with us. We'll have a pregame and the start of today's game coming up shortly. Stand by.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final game of the regular season for the Dayton Flyers. Tonight's game between your Flyers and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
From the Kettering Ice Arena in Kettering, Ohio, my name is Kent Jacobs. Welcome you again to Dayton Flyer College Hockey on the Dayton Flyers Hockey YouTube channel. It is the final game of the regular season for the Flyers and the Buckeyes club team. It is senior night. And first of all, being introduced by the PA here at the Kettering Rec Center is Alex Stugnica, as Coach Tony Morris gives him a plaque. He's one of the three seniors being honored tonight for the Flyers.
Next up, we have number 61, Matt Vild.
Matt Vild. Matt Vild, the senior.
Mechanical engineering and will graduate with that degree in the spring.
Matt hailing from Toledo, Alex Stubnica from Macomb, Michigan. Matt Vild, the second leading scorer for the Flyers this season.
Finally, number 7, Jack Clark.
And 27, Jake Clark.
Pursuing a degree in finance and will graduate this spring.
Jake Clark, a 5'8" freshman forward from Buffalo, New York.
In this past season, he served the Flyers hockey squad not only on the ice, but as vice president and risk manager. Congratulations, Jake.
And Coach Morris presenting Jake Clark with his plaque, commemorative plaque, for his years with the Dayton Flyer Hockey Club. These two teams played last night with the Buckeyes winning up in Columbus 8-2. The Buckeyes powered by a 4-goal first period. They had a 4-0 lead after one and had an empty net goal late in the game for a final margin of 8-2. Leading scorers to watch for today's game for the Dayton Flyers, Eric Chittister, number 21. Chittister with 21 goals on the season, leading the Dayton Flyers. He has 12 assists on the season. The team's coming out for a warm-up for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Their leading scorer is Jacob Clark, not to be confused with Dayton's Jake Clark. Jacob Clark for Ohio State has 15 goals and 8 assists on the season in 16 games played. Other leading scorers for the high-flying Buckeyes, J.P. Shimko with 9 goals and 14 assists. Charles Klinkar with 10 goals, 9 assists. Hakan Salt, 13 goals, 5 assists. And Jordan Hoy with 10 goals and 4 assists. Those are the leading scorers for the Ohio State Buckeyes. For the Flyers, we mentioned Eric Chittister, 21 goals, 12 assists. Other leading scorers for UD, Matt Vild, 9 goals, 15 assists for 24 points. And Herc Marcin Kavicius who is no longer playing this season. He had 6 goals and 8 assists. And Will Musel for Dayton, 6 goals, 4 assists. They are the leading scorers for the Dayton Flyers. Of course, this is Division II of the ACHA, or American Collegiate Hockey Association. The Ohio State Buckeyes have a Division I NCAA hockey program that is very good. They are 13th ranked in the country for their Division I men's NCAA team. The Division II club hockey team, which is kind of a, if you think of it as kind of a junior varsity, non-scholarship players, they are 13-5-0, and they are 8th ranked in the Southeast region of the ACHA. The ACHA, the club hockey equivalent of the NCAA, is the sanctioning body, the governing body, the body that coordinates and keeps track of everything and organizes these teams into this association. Of course, most of these programs now, a big college like Ohio State or Miami, some of the other bigger schools will have both. They'll have a Division I scholarship team, but they'll also have developmental club teams, which is what this Buckeye outfit is, while the University of Dayton, many years ago, used to have Division I hockey, but Title IX and some of the other financial restrictions that they may have had to cut back on some of the sports programs had to drop to a club level team, and Flyer hockey has gone back way back to the 1970s, but has been a club team now for probably at least 20 to 25, possibly even up to 30 years. The Flyers coming into today's game struggling. They are 2 wins, 18 losses, and no ties under first-year coach Tony Morris. Tony taking over a University of Dayton hockey program that was slightly in disarray last season, as their coach had to leave early in the season because of a job change where he had to move out of town to a new job, and it left the Flyers without a coach. And one of the young student assistants, Kennedy Dowling, took the team over the rest of the season, but really not the team in the program in a little bit of disarray last season. But Coach Morris, an experienced coach, has brought in a great staff of Chris Sands and Tyler Middlestead, Brandon Moravich, and Chad Morris. And we spoke to Chris Sands, assistant coach of the Flyers, during an intermission of the first game we did on this channel against Indiana a couple of weeks ago. And Coach Sands says that head coach Tony Morris and the rest of this Dayton Flyer staff are highly committed to trying to build this Dayton Flyer hockey program back up, try to get some players in a pipeline, identifying players, trying to scout some players that they can bring in as freshmen and try to develop into a good team and a strong program that they can carry on into the future. So that's where these two teams stand at this point. And again, it was a tough night last night for the Flyers, losing to Ohio State 8-2 up in Columbus. And the Flyers, though, on a good note last night, trailing 4-0 after one, played the Buckeyes to basically 3-2 the final 2 periods of the game. The Buckeyes scored a late empty net goal to win the last 2 periods 4-2. But the Flyers were much more competitive in the final 2/3 of that game last night. Good news to report for Dayton Flyer fans on the basketball front. Of course, the 6th ranked Dayton Flyer men's basketball team, 6th ranked in the country, they were able to hold off a very tough and physical St. Louis Billikens team at the UD Arena just a little while ago, 71-65. To certainly they'll maintain at least their 6th ranking in the country, and if any of the top 5 teams will have lost over the weekend, they could actually find themselves in the top 5 of the country. Those are parts unknown for the Dayton Flyer basketball program, even in their heydays back in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. I think the 5th ranking, is the highest the program has ever had, or 6th rank. So if they move into the top 5, it could be a first for the Flyer basketball program. We mentioned it is senior night for the Dayton Flyers. As we saw the introductions here a little while ago of the 3 seniors that are graduating this Flyer program. Seniors Alex Stednicka, who is a defenseman hailing from Macomb, Michigan. And then Jake Clark, a forward, 5'8" from Buffalo, New York. And Matt Vill, a 5'9" forward from Toledo, are the 3 seniors that are graduating this season. Taking a look at some of the other statistics as these teams come into this afternoon's game at the Kettering Ice Arena. The leading goaltender for the Flyers, Jack Studnicka, brother of Alex. And he comes in with a goals against of .527 and a save percentage of .870. Record is 0-13, and when the overall record is 2-18, that's type of record is going to happen. Otherwise, the other goaltenders for the Flyers, Jamie Jurgic with a 1-4 record and a .628 goals against, and Zach Stewart, who's played 4 games, or Zach Schmidt, a 1-3 record with a .675 goals against. 3 goalies coming into today's game for the Ohio State Buckeye Club team. The starting goaltender for most of the season is the young man that played last night, Declan Rooney. And Declan Rooney, 7-2 record with a .290 goals against average. And he has basically split time this season with Nevin Dyer. Nevin Dyer with a 5-3 record and a .313 goals against. Their third string goalie, Jakari Desfi. And Jakari was kind enough to help me with some of the pronunciations of a few of the Buckeye player names on their roster before the game this afternoon. So he asked me to give him a shout out. So here it is for Jakari Desfi. He is undefeated, 1-0 as a goaltender this season for the Buckeyes with a .215 goals against average in the one game that Jakari played. We are getting ready for Saturday afternoon hockey at Kettering Ice Arena. My name is Kent Jacobs, along with engineer Jeff Duford, and we welcome you to the Dayton Flyers hockey channel, all the Flyer fans out there, and also all the Buckeye fans, as there should be probably some Ohio State parents and friends, relatives that are watching our channel as well, and we appreciate everyone that is taking in the game this afternoon. If you're watching this game archived, it's recorded on a Saturday afternoon, January 8th here in Kettering. The Buckeyes are in their scarlet with gray and white trim. The Flyers in their white sweaters, red trunks, and red and powder blue trim. The referees for today's game are Ty Wilkinson, Greg Sine, Bob Gruel. Two teams ready at center. The puck is dropped and we are underway. In goal for the Buckeyes today is Nevin Dyer. And out the other way for the Flyers, Jack Studnicka. Controlling Shantz for Ohio State. Playing 3 20-minute periods in college hockey. Jake Clark rammed into the boards. Flyers controlling the Buckeye zone. Loose puck dropped off by Ville, but picked up for Ohio State. Cleared to center ice. And scooped up by Klimkar of Ohio State. Here's Klimkar. Wrist shot is partially blocked by Dayton Flyer Kyle Kruger. The Buckeyes, Jacob Clark tried to hold it in. It's carried to center ice. Buckeyes come back in the Dayton zone. Rupi lost it. Salt had it. Salt behind the net to Rupi. Rupi pass tipped. Flyers trying to come out with it, but the Buckeyes retain possession at center. Sam Gross loses the puck. Flyers trying to get it out of their own zone. Off a stick, back come the Buckeyes. Sam Gross checked into the boards by Dayton's Musel. Clark for Dayton. For Musel. Musel drop pass to Clark. Clark trying to work through, but stripped away by Jacob Clark. Clark on Clark. There's a quick shot from the Buckeyes. Hakan Salt. That was blocked on defense. Salt, spelled S-A-L-T. Here's a centering pass, a tip. Right in front by the Buckeye Shimko. That's just wide of the far post. And the puck flipped over the glass, and we'll have a face-off with 17:44 left in period number 1. From the face-off in the Dayton zone, the Flyers, Palacios rims it around the near boards for Clark. Clark bumped off the puck. Buckeyes, Vineyard, Alex Vineyard, a shot up off the stick high, off the glass atop the end boards. Main thing for the Flyers this afternoon, try to keep the game close. Now a loose puck off a stick down the ice, but the Buckeyes were able to come up with it. Alex Vineyard will circle back. Rink wide pass at center. Now a return pass the other way to Lineberry. Lineberry is checked hard, and it is Trevor Barola. And Barola didn't like it, but referee Wilkinson says you tripped him. So Barola heading into the penalty box for a trip. Trevor Barola in the box for 2 minutes. The Buckeyes have the man advantage. From the draw, Ohio State's Gross has it stripped away. Back come the Flyers, Matt Vild. Vild shooting, and it's tipped away. Here's another shot. They score! Eric Chittister! Eric Chittister is able to beat Dyer over his pad. And the Flyers, short-handed, take a 1-0 lead. For Eric Chittister, his 22nd goal of the season. And a short-handed goal. Dyer sets it up for Nick Shantz. Now back for the Buckeyes. Ebersol is shot right through the goal crease. And a whistle as the puck the goal net comes loose on the Dayton end, and that causes a stoppage of play. So a breakaway chance for the two high-scoring Flyers. Matt Vild, as his breakaway shot was wide, but Eric Chittister able to tip in for a short-handed goal, and the Flyers lead it 1-0. Now the Buckeyes, Shantz. Now behind the net, Shantz gets it back at the right point. His screen shot, and this off a body in front and cleared down the ice. 1 minute left in the Buckeye power play. J.P. Shimko of Ohio State drops it off for Ebersol. Shot! He scores! Power play goal for Andrew Ebersol. And that ties the game at 1 apiece. So an interesting power play opportunity. One shorthanded goal scored by Dayton, and then the power play goal by Ohio State to tie the game. It was important for the Flyers today to keep the game close. As last night it got away from them in the first period. They played well the rest of the game. Long shot steered away by the big paddle stick of Dayton's Jack Stednicka. Back come the Flyers, racing across center ice. Nick Trageser will dump it in. Buckeyes recover. Puck flipped away back to center. Langbein of Dayton. Pass broken up, stolen by the Buckeyes. 14:45 remaining, first period of a 1-1 hockey game. Pass at center for Dayton's Bradley. Bradley centering, but it's just behind Nick Trageser. Nice centering pass. Trying to pick it up Clark, or rather Chittister of Dayton, but it's cleared away back to neutral ice. Now for the Buckeyes, Klenkar moving in. Klenkar veers off to the corner, trying to shake off Vild. Vild checks in. Centering pass, picked up, held in, screen shot, blocked on defense off the Buckeyes, Brandon Questel. Matt Vild over the line for the Flyers. Return pass for Chittister, and it's behind him. Trying to race down the ice is Klenkar of Ohio State, beaten to it by Kruger of Dayton. There's a shot, blocked in front, and back come the Dayton Flyers. Chittister will dump it in and head to the bench on a line change. Ohio State's Nick Shantz. Shantz over past Musil. Pass on the right wing for a cutting Shimko. It's behind him. He centers from the corner, and it's picked up and flipped over the glass into the crowd at the Kettering Ice Arena. And we'll have a face-off back deep in the Dayton zone. Eric Chittister for Dayton. And Andrew Ebersol for the Ohio State Buckeyes. For Ebersol, it was his third goal of the season, incidentally. Flyers trying to get it out of their own end. Buckeyes intercept. There is Shimko. Back to the point, Questel. Behind the net. Trying to center in front. Puck loose. Tipped right out from in front of the net. After for the Flyers is Hines. But the Buckeyes were able to keep him from breaking out with the puck. And back come the Scarlet and Gray Buckeyes. 12:20 to play in period number 1. Long shot from the blue line wide. The Flyers, Trevor Barola. Pass along the left wing to Clark. Here comes Jacob Clark over the Buckeye line. Drop pass, Tregeser. Tregeser checked. Puck held in momentarily, but now the Buckeyes carry out of their own zone. Now trying to pick up a loose puck was Barola. Beaten to it, though, by Sam Gross of Ohio State. Gross to Vineyard. Return pass, give and go to Gross. Into the Dayton zone, behind the net, Gross. Sam Gross, right point pass for Ebersol. Shot blocked in front, off a body. Trying to wrap it around was Vineyard. Unable to stuff it in. And the puck escapes the blue line, and the Buckeyes have to circle back. Carrying back in, Revenu, shot from a bad angle wide. Sam Gross shot blocked off a body in front. Here's a shot right at the post. Off the stick of Ebersol, looking for his second goal, and it glances right off the far goal post as he had Studnicka beaten on that far side, but the goal post keeps the puck out of the net. Lucky break for the Flyers on that one. We're all tied it up one apiece. The Buckeyes, Ebersol drops it behind the net for Rupi. Dennis Rupi, centering pass off a stick, picked up by Chittister of Dayton. He'll flick it over the Buckeye blue line. After it for Ohio State, Bobby Bradley. To Vild, return pass intercepted and cleared away. 10.5 to go in the period. Pass at center for the Buckeyes, Brian Brown, who scored twice last night in the Ohio State win over the same Dayton Flyers. That game played in Columbus. Ohio State's Jack Lineberry dumps in behind the Dayton goal. Picked up by Bobby Bradley. Bradley checked into the boards in the far corner. Several players hit the ice. There's a wind up and a blast from the left point by Hubbard of Ohio State, and the save by Studnicka. Ohio State's Brown back to the left point. Return pass picked off and slipped to center ice. The Buckeyes have to clear the attacking zone. Flyers trying to carry in was Will Musel, as it's stripped away by Hubbard of Ohio State. Hubbard pass at center ice off and over the stick of the Buckeyes' Jordan Hoy, and down the ice. That will result in an icing violation. Face off back deep in the Dayton zone. As the puck up over the glass on that play. From the face-off, Flyers come back. Clark over the Buckeye line. Clark centers, Barola. Tip is off a body wide. How about come the Buckeyes? Puck poke checked away by Jack Studnicka. Shot Studnicka got that glance off his big catcher's mitt. Buckeyes hold in. Flicking it over into the corner was Hoy of Ohio State. Loose puck squirts in behind the Dayton cage. Puck centered but off a stick, and the Flyers come back. Barola will dump in, and he's leveled by Dennis Rupi of the Buckeyes. Teams change. Picking it up for the Buckeyes, Klinkar. He'll flick in front of the Dayton net, but it's intercepted and shot off a stick to center. Vild tried to strip the puck for a breakaway, but unable to do so. 1-1 the score. Matt Vild across center for Dayton. Vild, shot, and a save right into the big pads of Nevin Dyer. He will hold on for the face-off. Clock stopped with 7:40 to play first period. Matt Vild will take the draw for Dayton. And carrying out from the face-off is Gross. Left wing pass, shot, save by Studnicka. Buckeyes maintain possession. Solda shot, save, rebound, kicks free to the right point. There's a shot right on by Gross that Studnicka is able to hold on to, pinned to his big leg pads. Jack Studnicka has been the workhorse of the Dayton Flyers goaltender-wise this season. For the Buckeyes, Gross, pass, shot, save, rebound, and Studnicka is able to pluck that puck out of the air as J.P. Shimko put a shot right on net. Now Hakan Salt of Ohio State taking the face off. In the corner, Shimko wraps it around for Ebersol. Behind the net now, puck centered. Another shot, pad save, and Studnicka covers with Shimko trying to pounce on the rebound. It's been an action-packed first period, as we've had one special teams goal apiece by each team, as a shorthanded goal by the Flyers and a power play goal on the same penalty by the Buckeyes. Here's a shot right on, and trying to stuff the puck in for the Buckeyes was Alex Vineyard, and Studnicka is able to hit the ice and cover the puck. Dennis Rupi, the Buckeyes against Barola. But the Flyers, Clark clears not out, intercepted by Rupi. Dennis Rupi behind the net. Two players go down, and a whistle and an interference minor is going to be called against the Buckeyes. It looks like it was Hubbard, I think. I didn't catch. It's either Revenue or Hubbard that are going to the penalty box for interference. The Buckeye player saying, hey, I didn't have anywhere to go. But he ran into the Flyer player, knocked him down, and that interfered with his progress toward the puck, and that results in a 2-minute minor for interference, and the Flyers have their first power play chance of the game. From the face-off, Flyers, Alex Studnicka in the corner for Musel. Musel checked, trying to dig it free. Buckeyes were able to clear the zone. A minute and a half left in the Dayton power play. Chittister for Dayton. Over for Vild, center point, shot, save. From the rebound, the Buckeyes able to get it out of there. Matt Vild for Dayton. Wraps it around for teammate Will Musel. Musel to Barola. They'll dump it in. After it, Chittister, along with Bradley. But the Buckeyes were able to get it out of there. The Flyers on a couple of occasions not protecting that left defense position, trying to keep the puck in the attacking zone on the power play. First team's allowed to ice the puck on shorthanded when they're shorthanded. And the Flyers lose it to center. Trevor Barola will dump it in. And the Buckeyes empty it right back out. 25 seconds left in the Dayton power play. Need to put something together on this man advantage. Try to be patient and get the puck in the attacking zone, and instead it's picked up by Rupi. Rupi short-handed. Has it poke checked away. Now a centering pass, and ain't able to just stuff it in for the Buckeyes. Back comes Dayton. Trageser shot high and wide. O'Leary centers. Now here is Palacios' shot off a stick wide. And the Buckeyes clear. Picking up the puck with Shimko, but in over the play offside was Ohio State's Nick Shantz. And that will result in a face-off on the near dot just outside the Dayton zone. Hakan Salt, sold S-A-L-T, takes the face-off for the Buckeyes against Will Musel. Long shot from center has to be played as a save by the Buckeyes' Nevin Dyer. Now back is Ebersol. Ebersol shot wide. Ebersol scored the Buckeye goal earlier. Under 4 minutes to go in this opening period. The Buckeyes, Salt drops it off. Flyers intercept. Knocking a player down. There's a nice elbow by Musel to shake off a defender. Here's the Buckeyes with a centering pass. And a nice save by Studnicka. Jack Studnicka is able to keep the puck out of the net. With a quick reaction to knock the puck down and cover the rebound. Flyers led 1-0 on a shorthanded goal, and then about a minute later the Buckeyes scored a power play goal to tie it, and that's where we are, 1-1 with 3:15 to go in the first period. Buckeyes knock it down. Sam Gross centers, puck loose into the corner, now top slot, and a whistle, and we've got hand pass. I think the puck was forwarded with a hand pass. You're able to knock the puck down out of the air and drop it down right in front of you, but if you redirect the puck in any way, it results in a stoppage of play. And because a Buckeye player committed that violation, they take the face-off outside the Dayton zone. Back for the Buckeyes, Brown. He'll knock it in behind the Dayton net. Played by Langbine. Puck stolen away. Centered. Loose. Studnicka protecting that near post for Dayton. Between the pipes today for the Flyers. Loose puck as Vild goes down with a Buckeye player. Puck held in, right point, Gross. He flicks it into the corner. Vild for Dayton. Picks it up, wraps it around, but not out. Now back come the Flyers the other way. Taking it up, Clark. Drop pass for Langbine. Langbine behind the net. He gets tangled up. Flyers hold it in momentarily by carrying out for the Buckeyes, Questel. We'll check that, Muha. Muha Jack Henry Muha. Now a long shot from the right point by Jeff Hubbard of Ohio State. Puck loose right in front of the Dayton net. Shot by Gross is blocked on defense. Flyers were able to knock it to center ice to get it out of harm's way. Loose puck at center, scooped up by Klenkar. Shot. And it's gloved out of the air by Jack Studnicka. And he will hold on for the face-off. 1:25 to play in this period. Be a moral victory certainly for the Flyers if they can go into the first intermission all knotted up. There's Lineberry, shot for Ohio State. Deflects wide. Two players go down. Studnicka of Dayton. He can't catch the Buckeye number. Now here's Lineberry's shot. And we got some pushing and shoving in front of the Dayton net. And we're going to have, I think, some penalty time. And there's two players. It's number 19 for Ohio State, Jake Cimarusti, I beg your pardon, Cimarusti, and then a teammate, and I didn't catch his number. I did catch Jake Cimarusti blow a kiss toward the Dayton bench as he headed toward the penalty box. Actually, it's coincidental minors. I thought it was two Buckeye players that went into the penalty box, but the scoreboard is showing coincidental minors, but we're going to have to sort this out. I know it's Jake Cimarusti of Ohio State. I thought another Buckeye player headed into the penalty box also. And now it looks like the 2 minutes that were put on the board for Dayton are wiped out. So I think they might have double minors against Ohio State is what it looks like. But only one penalty on the scoreboard so far. Of course, we're not able to hear the conversation in the scorer's table below. Maybe just one minor penalty against Ohio State. Cimarusti went in, but I thought he was escorted in. Maybe it was the Buckeyes. Well, now, well, let's see if we can hear a PA announcement to try to find out. Looks like Cimarusti in the box, and I think that's all. So I don't know. It looked like two Buckeye players went into the penalty box. But just one penalty. So the Flyers on a power play. As we have under a minute left in the period, Buckeyes whack the puck down the ice. Played by Studnicka. Up ahead, Chittister. Chittister give and go, but off the stick of Musel. Buckeyes in their own zone. They're able to get the puck out of there. Now for Ohio State, Barola couldn't control it. Musel had it stripped away, picking it up, Barola of Dayton. Barola looking for a cutter. Puck held in by Vild. Vild left wing circle, centering! But the Buckeyes were able to intercept and clear, and that's going to be it for the period. Well, a very well played first period by both teams. The Flyers will have 1 minute and 2 seconds of a power play chance when the second period gets underway. And it looks like we will resurface the ice after this first period. At first, I wasn't sure if they were going to do that, but so that's where we stand after one period of play.
Shots on goal in the first period. Ohio State Buckeyes 15, Dayton 5.
So 15-5, the Buckeyes outshoot the Flyers in this first period, but the score is all knotted up at 1 apiece. So the scoring, the goal scoring in this first period. Eric Chittister for Dayton. And that was a short-handed goal. And for Eric Chittister, it was his 22nd goal of the season. And Eric Chittister for the Flyers, the 5'6" left-handed shooting forward out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So Eric with goal number 22 of the season. While for the Ohio State Buckeyes, it was Andrew Ebersol who scored a power play goal. And for Ebersol, for him it was his third goal of the season. And Eric Ebersol for the Buckeyes let's see, he is actually from Rochester, New York, and he is a foot taller than Eric Chittister. Eric Chittister 5'6", Andrew Ebersol 6'6", and he hails from Rochester, New York. So, and that's where we stand. We'll get the assist for those two goals to round out the scoring of this first period. Matt Vild was the assist on Dayton's shorthanded goal. Vild, his 16th assist of the season, and he leads the team in assists. And Vild, of course, one of the seniors for the Flyers, who is going to be graduating this spring. It was Vild that had a breakaway on the shorthanded chance, and the save was made by Nevin Dyer, but after the puck kicked behind the net, it came out in front to Chittister, and he was able to knock it up high over the leg pad of Dyer and into the net for the opening goal of the game. That was shorthanded, and a 1-0 Dayton lead again for Chittister, his 22nd goal of the season, and Matt Vild his 16th assist of the year. And then the Ohio State Buckeyes, just around a minute later, on their same power play chance, Andrew Ebersol, his third goal of the year, and he was assisted on that goal by teammates Jacob Clark and also by Charles Klenkar. And for the Buckeyes, Jake Clark, that was his 9th assist of the season. And for Charles Klenkar, it was his 10th assist of the season. So that rounds out the scoring in the first period. And again, the shots on goal one-sided in favor of Ohio State, 15-5. But a moral victory for the Dayton Flyers as they are tied up with the Buckeyes 1-1. And we mentioned before the game how the Buckeyes are ranked 8th in the ACHA, which is the American Collegiate Hockey Association, a governing body for the non-scholarship teams, and that's in the Southeast region. they are ranked 8th, and they're 13-5 on the season. The Flyers at 2-18, trying to come away on this last game of their regular season on a very high note. If they are able to knock the Buckeyes off today, and that would be a great way to cap off the Flyers season. Taking a look at some of the other college hockey happenings as we're on this Saturday, February 8th. Taking a look at the Division II ACHA. Now the American Collegiate Hockey Association is broken up into three divisions for the men's hockey, 1, 2, and 3, and 2 divisions for women's college hockey, divisions 1 and 2. And the Division II, which these two teams today, the Flyers and the Club Buckeyes, are in Division II. And this division nationally has been dominated for the past 8 years by, of all places, Florida Gulf Coast, as Florida Gulf Coast is the highest ranked team in the southeast region of the ACHA. Florida Gulf Coast is not only top ranked this season, but are the 2-time defending national champions of Division II ACHA. Gulf Coast has won 3 of the past 4 seasons and 4 of the last 8 seasons. So how Florida Gulf Coast became a hotbed for non-scholarship club collegiate hockey down there, I don't know, but they are quite a story, having won half the national championships of the Division II club hockey level over the past 8 years. Some of the other ranked teams in Division II ACHA so far this season: Liberty University, which I believe is out of Virginia. They are second ranked in the region, and they've also won 1 or 2 national championships over the past decade in Division II. Then the University of Cincinnati, the Bearcats, are third ranked in the region, and some other colleges of note that are ranked in the Division II ACHA standings right now. North Carolina State University is ranked 5th. That's the Wolfpack. And then the Miami University Redhawks from down in Oxford, they are ranked 6th. And of course, again, as we see with Ohio State and some other bigger colleges, the club team for the Miami Redhawks is pretty much a feeder team for their varsity scholarship NCAA Division I team, almost a farm team or a junior varsity team. And the Miami Club Redhawks Division II are 6th ranked in the region, the Southeast region. Then they're followed by Penn State, and then ranked 8th are the Ohio State Club Buckeyes, who are playing here today, and they're 8th ranked in the region. And rounding out some other regional teams in this West Ohio and the tri-state region, it is Xavier is ranked 12th, and Indiana, who we saw here a couple of weeks ago at the Kettering Ice Arena defeat the Dayton Flyers 7-2. The Indiana Club Hoosiers are ranked 13th in the Southeast region of the ACHA. The Kentucky Wildcats are ranked 15th, and the Ohio Bobcats are 17th ranked. And then some other teams in the region, the Pennsylvania Quakers are 18th, Virginia Tech is 19th, and up the highway at Bowling Green, the Bowling Green State Falcons are the 20th ranked team in the Southeast region of the ACHA. Again, looking at some of the differences, the NCAA Division I is a full ride scholarship status. NCAA Division II is some partial scholarships, not full ride scholarships, but some partial scholarships are awarded. And then Division III in NCAA play is, of course, non-scholarship, and all three divisions of the ACHA are, of course, non-scholarship teams. Almost, you could almost say intramural is a kind of high school equivalent, but at the same time, maybe a step above that, as these club teams in the bigger universities do act as feeder teams for the Division I programs. And as an equivalent, Division I ACHA play is considered equal to NCAA Division III play, is kind of roughly how the classifications, quality of play-wise, are sort of classified. So, and when we look at some of the other NCAA hockey, in Division I men's play, North Dakota, the University of North Dakota, is on top, as they have a record of 21 wins, 3 losses, and 3 draws, and they are the number 1 team in the country for Division I men's ice hockey. The Cornell Big Red, always a very good Division I college program. They're ranked 2nd in the country. Minnesota State is ranked 3rd. Boston College is 4th. And some other teams in the region that are of note, Minnesota Duluth ranked 6th. University of Massachusetts, the Minutemen, are ranked 8th. That's in Division I men's hockey. Penn State is ranked 9th. And the Providence Friars from Rhode Island are ranked 10th. Arizona State is ranked 11th. And Northeastern from Maine, I believe, is ranked 12th. And the Ohio State Buckeyes Division I NCAA men's program is ranked 13th in the country at 16-9-3. They're ranked 13th in the country in NCAA Division I. And some other teams in the top 20 might recognize. The Northern Michigan is 15th. Quinnipiac, which of course is home to all those political pollsters that you always hear, Quinnipiac, they are ranked 16th in Division I men's ice hockey. Harvard is ranked 17th. Michigan State is 19th. And Sacred Heart is the 20th ranked team in Division I hockey this season. As far as NCAA Division I women's hockey, is the Wisconsin Lady Badgers. They are ranked number 1 in women's Division I college hockey. And the Ohio State Lady Buckeyes are ranked 5th in the country in NCAA Division I ice hockey. We are getting ready for the start of the second period. The Buckeyes and the Flyers are all knotted up at one apiece. My name is Kent Jacobs. We appreciate you joining us on the Dayton Flyers Hockey YouTube channel on this Saturday afternoon. Puck is dropped. The Flyers on a power play for another minute starting this second period. The Buckeyes in the scarlet uniforms, gray and white trim. The Flyers in the homestanding white sweaters with red trunks, powder blue, and white trim. Half a minute left in the Dayton power play. They haven't been able to muster a scoring chance on this man advantage. Will Musial, pass over for Bradley, intercepted and cleared. Played by Alex Studnicka, his brother Jack in goal for Dayton. And the other end, it's Nevin Dyer. Nevin spelled N-E-V-E-N. Here's an intercepted pass at center ice. Here come the Buckeyes, and a poke check by goaltender Jack Studnicka to break that up. Now here's a centering pass right in front of the Ohio State goal by Chittister. Puck kicks loose. That was a good scoring chance for the Flyers. Not quite able to cash in on it. Puck flipped to neutral ice, played by the Buckeyes' Sam Gross. Puck dumped in to the near corner. There's a shot off the leg of the Flyers' O'Leary that had to smart. Chittister will drop for teammate Phillips in his own zone. Chittister, backhanded fashion, will drop it in behind the Buckeye net. Team's at full strength. Studnicka sets it up for Langbine. Pass at center off his stick to Dayton's Will Musial. Musial, pass for Hines, is broken up. Ohio State's Patrick Graney for Hubbard. Back to Graney. Back to Hubbard. Hubbard flips it high, held in by Barola of Dayton. Barola checked. Buckeyes Graney tried to pick it up. Now instead it's Jack Henry Muha. Muha spelled M-U-H-A. Jack Henry Muha for the Buckeyes. Two players go down in the Dayton zone. Flyers are able to clear it out. After it for the Buckeyes, Jeff Hubbard. Hubbard on right wing across center. Hubbard has it stripped away. Buckeyes unable to break it out. As a pass for Bobby Bradley was ahead of his stick, it carries the length of the ice, and that will result in an icing against the Dayton Flyers. Again, this is the final regular season game for these two teams. They played last night in Columbus. The Buckeyes won that game 8-2. From the draw to the right of Studnicka. Shot, save, rebound, covered. With Alex Vineyard of Ohio State trying to get a crack at the rebound, but Jack Studnicka is able to hold it for a face-off. From the face-off, shot, blocked. Chittister tried to break out with it, but able to recover for Ohio State was Nick Shantz. Now for the Flyers, Bradley. Pass over to Chittister, shot, blocked on defense. Chittister tried to center, it's off a stick. And now a one-time chance by Bradley is fanned on for Dayton. Now a shot steered away by Nevin Dyer, and he's able to cover for the face-off. Again, it is senior night. 3 Dayton Flyers, Matt Vild, Jacob Clark, and Alex Studnicka, were honored before the game by Flyers head coach Tony Morris. Jacob Clark centering, it's up, they score! Declan O'Leary for Dayton takes the centering pass from Jake Clark, and the Flyers take a 2-1 lead. Declan O'Leary with his 4th goal of the season. Declan O'Leary is 6'2" from Park Ridge, Illinois. And the Flyers take their 2nd lead of the game at 2-1. Buckeyes carry in. Trying to get a backhand shot was Hoy of the Buckeyes. It's turned aside by Studnicka. Puck flipped high, just right in front of us down the ice. It rolls on end beyond the Buckeye goal line, and then that results in an icing violation. A nice Saturday afternoon crowd on hand at the Kettering Ice Arena. And from the face-off, deep in the Dayton zone, the Buckeyes, Samaruti kind of clear, but had it taken away. Now unable to hold it in was Ebersol. He lost it. Here is Trageser for Dayton. He drops behind the Buckeye net. Buckeyes, Hubbard carries over the Dayton line behind the net. Ebersol rather. Shot! They score! Sam Gross with a slap shot, and then a couple of players and it looks like Jake Semarusti heading into the penalty box. He took a swing at one of the Flyers' loose sticks that were on the ice. Also going in for Dayton is Phillips, Ricky Phillips, and I think another Buckeye player may have gone in as well, but then that tricked me before. I thought there were 2 Buckeye players going into the penalty box. A couple of players exchanged shoves. The goal was scored by Sam Gross, and I believe it counts. And for Sam Gross of Ohio State, he's the 6'4" from Madison, Wisconsin. And for Sam Gross, it's his 3rd goal of the season. And we're going to sort out these penalties. As it looks like, again, it's going to be 4-on-4. So Semaruti for Ohio State and Phillips of Dayton, Ricky Phillips, are the 2 players penalized. So we've got a little bit of wide open 4-on-4 hockey. Here for the Buckeyes, Shimko shot, blocked on defense. Hubbard picks it up. Hubbard, behind the net, touch pass. Salt shot, he scores! Hakan Salt off of the skate in front of the Dayton net, and we'll see if he gets credit for the goal. It depends on whether the puck deflected off the skate of a teammate or off the skate of a Dayton player. It was off a Dayton player, then Salt would be given credit for the goal. Until we hear different, we'll give Salt the goal. As the Buckeyes now 2 unanswered goals to take their first lead of the game. There's a centering pass in front of the Ohio State net that's broken up. Pass off a skate, picked up for the Buckeyes. Shot. And another shot off the goalpost and covered. No goal as it pings off the inside of the goalpost and is covered by Jack Studnicka. A dangerous chance because the puck rebounded off the inside of the goalpost. It could have hit off the back of Studnicka right back into the net, but instead it comes out in front of him and he's able to cover. Here's a pass picked up by Hoy. Behind the net, Jacob Clark. Jacob Clark comes out with it. He's looking for Shantz. Shantz, screen shot! And it glances up over the glass off the crossbar. That puck pinged off the crossbar and up over the glass behind the net. And it was Hakan Salt who was credited with that goal. It was his shot that went in. It went off of skate, but it may have gone off the skate of a Dayton player. And just offside was Declan O'Leary at the Buckeye blue line as he tried to corral a pass and walk in on top of Nevin Dyer, but instead the play is offside, whistle down, and will take the face-off outside the Buckeye zone. Barola for Dayton, tripped up, he hits the ice. Pass back to Barola. Trevor Barola looking to make a play, looking for a cutter in front. Shot, oh, and just missing on a tip on it was Nick Trageser of Dayton. Now Trageser behind the net, wraps it around for Kruger. Shot, pad save, puck loose, rebound shot, save, puck still loose right at the side of the Buckeye net. And now it's carried out by OSU. Here's a centering pass, shot, stick save with a big paddle stick by Jack Studnicka of Dayton. Here's a loose puck at center, picked up by Ohio State. Chance before the Flyers, Brandon Hines could break away with it. 12:20 left in the second period. It's been an action-packed second period. It was 1-1 after one, and now it's 3-2. The Flyers took a 2-1 lead, and now the Buckeyes have scored two in a row. That last play offside, Brandon Hines in ahead of the puck, crossing over the Ohio State blue line. So Salt from Shimko and Hubbard, that last Ohio State goal. 12 minutes, we're 8 minutes into the second period. Flyers need to score the next goal. They don't want to go down by 2 against this high-flying Buckeye squad. Here's a pass, nice play picked off by Trevor Barola of Dayton. Couldn't clear the zone, however. Now Barola a second chance at clearing. He knocks it up high with a backhand pass off the glass, but it's held in by Gross. Now fought for in the corner. Buckeyes at center ice. Will flick it back in the Dayton zone. For the Flyers, it's Kyle Colquite. Colquite pass for Hines, intercepted. Barola gets it for Dayton. Barola behind his back pass, intercepted and cleared down the ice. Icing waved off as the referees say a player could have played it. Here's a centering pass off a stick. Now a chance for the Buckeyes. Shot off the side of the net. Tragus down is Studnicka, and he is able to sprawl across the goal mouth as well as teammate Trevor Barola, to keep the puck out of the net. So Jack Studnicka and teammate Trevor Barola laying out across the Flyer goal mouth to keep the Buckeyes out of the net and keep the deficit at 1 for Dayton. They trail it 3-2 with 10:45 left in the second period. Outlet pass for Chittister, broken up by the Buckeyes. Back they come. Sam Gross stops, drops it off for Salt. Hakan Salt poke checked away to center. Ebersol, a big 6'6" giant out there for the Buckeyes. Pass ahead for Shimko. Give and go to Clark. He's checked and the puck cleared away. Ebersol again, behind his own net. Ebersol checked from behind, veers off, circles back, right wing pass to center, tripped up and going down is Hakan Salt. Loose puck, Jake Clark. Pass off of referees comes to Vild of Dayton, and he'll ice the puck the other way to take some of the pressure off. Clock stopped with 9:52 left in the second period of what's been a very entertaining game this afternoon. Last regular season action for both of these teams. From the draw, deep in the Dayton zone. Chittister pass at center, picked off by Klinkar of Ohio State. Klinkar shot! And a pad save made by Jack Studnicka of Dayton. Flyers will dump it in. Alex Studnicka, shot behind the net. Flyers change on the fly. Intercepted pass by Hoy of the Buckeyes. He'll shoot it in. Now Hoy gets it back. Centering pass, broken up and cleared by the Flyers. Players volley the puck around at center. And the Buckeyes retreat to their own zone. There's a big hit on Simarusti. He's laid out by Flyer Ricky Phillips. Simarusti, and I think there's not too much love lost. Maybe, I don't know what happened last night, but I told you earlier when Simarusti in the first period had a penalty, he blew a kiss toward the Flyer bench. And then in this period, one of the Flyers sticks was down on the ice, and he took a big whack at that stick laying on the ice and was sent to the penalty box. And now we've got a penalty on the Flyers for elbowing. We'll see who it was on. So an elbowing minor on Dayton. And a big power play chance for Ohio State. And it's on Ricky Phillips. No, it was Phillips who did tangle with Simarusti. And Phillips goes in for elbowing with 8.5 to go in the second. Flyers set up their power, or rather Buckeyes set up their power play, but it passes off a stick blade and over the glass. Flyers on the penalty kill. They've got Kruger on the ice with Eric Chittister up front. Studnicka. Buckeyes set up their man advantage. Holding it in was Ebersol. Ebersol prodding at the puck. It kicks free to center. Buckeyes have to circle back. Carrying back in Nick Shantz. Nick Shantz. Shantz. Top of the slot. Now near corner. Rink wide. Held in by the Buckeyes. Ebersol. Ebersol carries behind the net. Drops it off for Shimko. Wraps it around for teammate Klinkar. Klinkar to Clark. Back to Shimpo to Clark. Over for Klinkar, calling for it. Chance at the top of the slot. Shot, save, and up off the stick of Jack Studnicka and over the glass. Flyers trying to kill off a penalty. The Buckeyes have had a well-run, well-organized power play operation on this opportunity. Unable to cash in on it so far. They're going to wind up a shot. Blasted from the right point by Sam Gross. Cimarusti for the Buckeyes. Behind the net. Cimarusti back for a player I can't tell his number. Here's a centering pass shot just wide by Hubbard. Buckeyes, there's a long shot from the left wing circle is up off the glass. High and wide. Penalty killed off by the Flyers. Back on the ice is Bradley. Penalty was not on Bradley, though it was Phillips. Shot, pad save by Jack Studnicka as the Buckeyes still putting pressure on the Dayton net. Buckeyes with their first lead of the game, now at 3-2. Flyers Clark, hip checked by Salt of Ohio State. Bradley of Dayton will leave it. It's picked up by the Buckeyes. Back come the scarlet and gray the other way. Hoy, Jordan Hoy behind the net. Drop pass off a stick in front. Puck loose. Flyers trying to clear it out of their own zone, and they do, but we've got a whistle. And we have a slash and heading in. And that is going to be young Mr. Cimarusti, who's had an interesting afternoon. So Jake Cimarusti in for his second penalty of the game, and he was not all too pleased about it. Flyers on a power play chance. Vild, left wing, shot, save, and covering is Nevin Dyer in net for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Chittister for Dayton. Takes the draw against Revenue of Ohio State. Flyers, again, they need to be patient on the power play and set things up there. Letting the puck get cleared away too often. Here's Vild, pass behind Studnicka. Puck picked up by Will Musel, pass off a stick to Bradley. Vild is taken down. Vild back up, picks up the puck, it's off a stick. Now another penalty. Let's see who that's going to be on. This is going to be a tripping minor. So we have a minor penalty for tripping against the Buckeyes. That's going to be on Chris. Actually, it's going to be on Brian Brown, I think is up, number 9, I think that went in. And the Dayton Flyers are going to call timeout as they have a 5-on-3 power play chance, and Coach Tony Morris wants to make sure that they set things up right. Buckeye team captain Jack Lineberry having word with referee Bob Gruhl. Or actually, that was so yes, it was Brian Brown of Ohio State. Referees today, Wilkinson, Sign, and Gruel. They see a lot of action at this Kettering Ice Arena. Tony Morris, we mentioned the coaches for both teams, the full staffs. Tony Morris, for head coach of Dayton, with Tyler Middlestead, Brandon Moravec, Chad Morris, Chris Sands. The assistants for Ohio State, head coach Mark Runco, assisted by Kyle Ahrens, Andrew Wilson, and their goaltending coach is Ryan Dopp. Dopp spelled D-O-P. Those are the two coaching staffs this afternoon for these two combatants, and we've had some combating going on today. Flyers with a critical 5-on-3 chance for another minute, and then they'll have another minute of a one-man power play. Here's Vild, drop pass, Chittister, rink wide, Barola, Trevor Barola to Vild. Vild, centering pass, pad save, rebound, loose in front, Chittister, whack at it. And the Buckeyes clear the zone. That was Charles Klenkar who got it out of harm's way for the moment. Back come the Flyers, another half a minute of a two-man power play. Musel, now to Vild, shot, pad save by Dyer. This puck, the Buckeyes were able to shoot it in on goal, as it was Klenkar who got a shot off. Flyers trying to carry it in, Bradley. Bradley working around Rupi. And the Flyers unable to keep it in, and that's going to expire the first penalty. So Dayton unable to score on the two-man advantage. They do have another one-man advantage for the next 40 seconds. They need to take advantage and tie the game. There's Declan O'Leary over the line, has it stripped away and cleared. Stednica sets it up for the Flyers. And for Dayton, Ricky Phillips over the Buckeye blue line. Shot, stick save. Rebound, Chittister in the corner. Drops it off for teammate O'Leary. And puck shot right in front. It bounces right in front of the Buckeye goal. Now another shot, saved by Dyer, and he's able to hold on to the rebound with Phillips at the doorstep for Dayton, and the penalties have been killed off. There is 1 second remaining as referee Wilkinson heads to the scorer table to ask him to put 1 second left on the clock. So with a face-off deep in the Ohio State zone, the Flyers have at least a chance to try to get a shot off 5-on-4. As it'll be Nick Trageser for Dayton taking the face off against, looks like, Jacob Clark. Now the penalties are killed off. Under 3 minutes to play in what's been a wild and woolly second period. Flyers, Trageser intercepts a pass at center. Unable to dump it in as he's tied up. Back for the Flyers was Kyle Kruger, long shot, and a pad save as Jake Clark of Dayton lost his stick. Ohio State 3, Dayton 2, with 2:27 left in the second period. Will Musel takes the draw for Dayton. Buckeyes clear, scooping up the loose puck at center, Jacob Clark. Jacob Clark's centering pass for Ebersol. It was over his stick. Now a shot, pad save, rebound into the corner. That's Jacob Clark Pass behind the net, nobody's there. Barola picks it up for Dayton. Barola for Hines. Taken away by Shimko. Centering pass off a stick to the corner. Buckeyes. Clark. Back for Shimko. Shimko centers. Studnicka down, and he's able to cover the puck. Shot by Clark of Ohio State. But Studnicka able to keep the puck out of the net. Simarusti for Ohio State. Shot, save, Studnicka. Simarusti, drop pass, intercepted. Back comes Dayton's Chittister. Chittister working around Lineberry. Shot, pad save, and with Bradley trying to swoop in for a rebound, Nevin Dyer covers the loose puck. With 1:24 to go in the second period. Matt Vild for Dayton. Shot plucked out of the air by Nevin Dyer, with Eric Chittister trying to cut in for the rebound opportunity. Vild and Chittister, the two top guns for Dayton. Here's a shot by Studnicka wide. Vild trying to drop it off into the corner for Chittister. Has it stripped away. Flyers will dump it right back in with a minute to go in the second period. Back for the Buckeyes was Andrew Ebersol, but lost the handle before he could cut in front of the Dayton net. There's a wraparound chance, but the Buckeyes can't get a stick on it. Chasing it back down the other way, Jeff Hubbard of OSU. Pass at center off a stick. Picking it up, Simarusti. Simarusti hit hard and shot wide. There's a long shot, steered away by the big paddle stick of Jack Studnicka. Shot just wide, and just missing a tip was Jordan Hoy of Ohio State. Loose stick out on the ice. Somebody's going to trip on that thing. Just 5 seconds left in the period. Back to play it for Ohio State, Jack Lineberry, and that's how the second period is going to come to a close. Very entertaining game this afternoon at Kettering. After two, it's the Ohio State Buckeyes 3 and the Dayton Flyers 2.
Shots on goal in the second period for the Ohio State Buckeyes, 11 for a two-period total of 26. For the Dayton Flyers, 12 for a two-period total of 17.
So, just got shots. Did you hear the shots, Jeff? I know. Okay. So, very entertaining second period. The Flyers took a 2-1 lead, and then Ohio State with 2 unanswered goals. And they hold a 3-2 advantage after 2 periods of play. We're going to get shots on goal. Again, favoring Ohio State. Or check that, favoring Ohio or University of Dayton in the second period, 12-11. And for the game, however, the Buckeyes out shooting the Flyers 26-17. And coming into the game, Ohio State with a 13-5 record and ranked 8th in the ACHA region. The Flyers coming in at 2-18-0. Again, in a rebuilding phase of this program under first-year coach Tony Morris. As recent games for the Flyers, of course, last night in Columbus, they dropped an 8-2 decision to these Ohio State Buckeyes, as Brian Brown of Ohio State scored twice last night. The two goals scored by Dayton were both in the third period, and they were scored by Bobby Bradley, and by Eric Chittister. Brian Brown for Ohio State scoring 2 goals. The other 6 goals were scored by individuals for the Buckeyes. They led 4-0 after 1 last night, 5-0 after 2. But the third period was played even up, 2-2, until the Buckeyes got an empty net goal at the end of the game last night to win the third period 3-2, and the game overall 8-2. But if you take the last 4 periods that these teams have played, the score would be 6-5 Dayton. Or no, I beg your pardon. No, it would be 7-5 in favor of Ohio State. So the past 4 periods of play, counting last night's game, the Buckeyes are outscoring the Flyers 7-4, but one of those goals was an empty net late game goal. So really 6-4 in even-handed play over the last 4 periods. So the Flyers have been able to play pretty straight up against this tough Ohio State squad. Again, 8th ranked in the region for the past 4 periods. And they have a chance. They're only down by a goal. I'm sure the Flyers, with just a couple of wins over the 20-game season, especially for the 3 seniors tonight, Matt Vild, along with Jacob Clark and Alex Studnicka, they would love nothing more than to come away with an upset win against the Buckeyes in their final home game, and come away with a memorable win on a senior night here on this Saturday, February 8th, here at Kettering Ice Arena. So the goals scored in that second period, going over the scoring, again, it was Declan O'Leary who scored for the Flyers, and for O'Leary, who incidentally a big 6'2" kid from Park Ridge, Illinois, for young Mr. O'Leary, it was his 4th goal of the season. So Declan has 4 goals, 4 assists on the season now for 8 points overall. Meanwhile, for the Ohio State Buckeyes, as they scored 2 unanswered goals in the second half of that third period, it was Sam Gross who has displayed a pretty wicked slap shot for the Buckeyes. And for Sam Gross, it was his 3rd goal of the season, as Sam is a defenseman, a right-handed shooter, a 6-footer out of Madison, Wisconsin. And so for Sam Gross, defenseman, his 3rd goal of the season. Again, he had another couple hard shots displayed in that second period for the Ohio State Club Buckeyes. Looking at some of the recent games for the Dayton Flyers as they wind their 2019-2020 schedule down. As last weekend at the Iceland rink in Louisville, they played the Louisville Cardinals, a tough game, as Louisville defeated the Flyers 7-5. And then the previous weekend in Bloomington, Indiana, at Frank Southern Arena, It was Indiana Hoosiers 6-2 winners over Dayton, and the night before that on January 24th right here, a game that we carried on the Dayton Flyers YouTube channel that you could still take a look at. It's posted, archived on the YouTube channel. It was Indiana over Dayton 6-2, and that was, despite the score 6-2, that was a hard-fought game. Then again, the Flyers had a rough first period, but played the second and third periods very competitively against the Indiana Hoosiers on that night. And then previous to that, in some of the other regional games the Flyers have played this year in January, they lost to Marquette 7-2, Providence 10-1. Again, we saw how Providence is ranked in the Division II ACHA ratings, very high. Providence was ranked in the top 20 of the ACHA Division II rankings. Or in fact, they were one of the teams that, actually it was their Division I team that's nationally ranked 10th. Their Division II ACHA team is not ranked, but they again are one of those feeder teams for varsity. So in that instance, when you see something like that, and it's just like what happens at Miami University down in Oxford, usually the club teams, and we're seeing it here with the Ohio State Buckeyes, even when the club teams are filled with non-scholarship players, still these are almost minor league teams for the varsity teams, and all of these young guys playing on these club teams are looking for the opportunity to eventually be on the varsity team, and these players have been recruited to come to these colleges with the big hockey programs with a chance, and knowing that they have a chance to eventually, if they play well enough, play on the big team, play on the Division I varsity team. So even when teams like Ohio State, Miami, Providence, Indiana, some of these other colleges that in the region that have Division I NCAA teams, the club teams are filled with players that have been recruited by the Division I coaching staffs in many cases, with an understanding that they'll have an opportunity to make the Division I team if they play well enough and if there are openings. So still, even though they don't have scholarships, still they are scholarship-worthy players that are looked at as potential Division I players. Whereas the case of University of Dayton, they're playing on the only hockey program that the school has, which is a non-scholarship club program, and so that is a little bit more difficult to try to recruit players to, especially in this area when you have really a hotbed of a number of Division I programs, not just here, not just Ohio State and Miami and some of the others, but some of the other, even a little bit up north, Michigan and some of the other Michigan schools that even aren't in the big conferences that have Division I programs, Indiana, Penn State. So a lot of teams, colleges in the region that have Division I programs that are able to recruit players even for their club teams with a chance of knowing that they could make the Division I program at some point. So what Coach Tony Morris is trying to do in his first year and with the staff, and we mentioned this after the first period intermission, was that his staff is trying to establish a new culture at the University of Dayton hockey program and bring kids in, young players that intend to stay all 4 years and show some of the other young high school players in the area, and in the high school in the Dayton and southwestern Ohio area, high school players that, okay, University of Dayton is not a Division I NCAA program, but it is a very good club program, Division II in the ACHA. They play before normally nice crowds at this Kettering Rec Center. I know a game we did last year on the Dayton Access television channel, it was packed full of UD fans, in a great win that they had against the University of Pittsburgh Panthers this time last year. So it's a nice situation. It's a great place to play for players in the Dayton area and in Southwest Ohio if they're thinking about playing college hockey and they are unable to make a Division I team. They can come to a place like University of Dayton, and with a very well-run now club program, and get to play college hockey in front of some nice crowds and against a lot of big schools, and get the college hockey experience, as of course many of these players of course played in high school, and they're looking to keep their hockey careers going. And it's a great opportunity for players that are unable to make Division I programs, or in an area where colleges that they would like to attend don't have hockey programs. That's what this ACHA, American College Hockey Association, is for players like that want to play. And it's a great governing body that has a nationwide network of 4 very large geographic regions with several hundred schools participating. And it's a great chance for these young guys to keep playing hockey, and the young ladies. Of course, there are 2 women's divisions in the ACHA as well. The puck has been dropped for the 3rd period, and from the opening draw, the Buckeyes get a shot on net. It was Jordan Hoy, and on Studnicka, Jack Studnicka in goal for Dayton, and Nevin Dyer this afternoon for the visiting Buckeyes. And 3-2 Ohio State as we enter the 3rd and final period this afternoon. Here's Jake Clark for Dayton. Clark centering pass is intercepted by Simarusti. There's a shot by the Buckeyes' Klenkar, and a save by Studnicka. Ebersol holds the puck in at the left point. Pass behind the net for Klenkar. He's checked. Puck held in by Ebersol. Now to Gross, shot. And just high and wide. We mentioned in the intermission the big slap shot of young Mr. Sam Gross, as he planted one in the Dayton net in the 2nd period. Sam Gross again. Shot. It's off a stick, high and wide. Gross chases it down. Checked by Barola of Dayton. Barola and Tragesser after it for the Flyers. Tragesser lost it. Shot off a skate. And Barola for Dayton will shoot it in on net, and it's gloved by Dyer, and he will hold on. Again, my name is Kent Jacobs. We're here from the Kettering Ice Arena on the Dayton Flyers Hockey Channel. We appreciate all the folks watching today. And what's been an exciting affair this afternoon. Had a lot of physical play. There's been a couple of scuffles. Pass for the Buckeyes, Jacob Clark. Again, we have a Jacob Clark, number 20 on Ohio State, and Jake Clark, number 27 on Dayton. There's a shot, pad save, point blank by Hakan Salt of Ohio State, and a pad save by Studnicka. Salt found the puck right in front of him, about 10 or 12 feet right in front of the net, and he just was able to rip a quick slap shot off, but right into the pads of Studnicka. Salt had scored a goal earlier. He scored in the second period. Puck held in by Questel of Ohio State, shot wide. Flyers trying to carry out. Musel for Dayton, shot, stick save, loose puck behind the net. Buckeyes control it. Back they come. Back for Ohio State is Chris Revenue, and a shot, and it's gloved by Studnicka. Teams change lines with the stoppage of play. 7:22 left in the third. And from the face-off, the puck flips up over the glass, and another face-off. Matt Vild of Dayton will face off against Jack Henry Muha. Name spelled M-U-H-A. Got to be one of the great names that we've seen this year, Jack Henry Muha. That Muha actually is tossed out of the face-off circle in favor of Chris Revenue of Ohio State. He'll square off with Vild. Matt Vild wins the draw, back for Barola. Back for Vild, rink-wide pass for Clark down the ice, played by goaltender Dyer. Shot to center. Puck flips up off the ceiling of the Kettering Ice Arena, and that results in a face-off and a stoppage of play. Puck pinged off the arched rafters. At the grand old Kettering Ice Arena. Been playing hockey here for many, many years. There was talk at one point of possibly shutting the place down, but thank goodness the people of Kettering and Montgomery County have voted to keep this great facility in operation, hopefully indefinitely. Now we've got an interference minor penalty coming up with 16.5 to play. Who's going to head off? Looking at Ohio State's Jack Lineberry holding his hands out like, what happened? What happened, he says. It looks like it's going to be the Buckeyes' Alex Vineyard and also Alex Hoyen going into the penalty box. Been seeing that, and it tricked me at first. Two Buckeyes go into the penalty box. I don't know if one is there to open and close the door. I don't know, but they've done that all game, where each penalized player will be accompanied by a teammate. Here's a shot. Save, a shot by Charles Klenkar up into the netting, behind the net or side of the net. Now referee Bob Gruhl having a word with someone at the penalty box. I think he's winding the clock down. Maybe the clock wasn't running at the last sequence of play, so he is having the timekeeper wind the clock down on both the game clock and the penalty clock. So it's wound down to 16:24 left in the period, 1:45 left in the Dayton power play chance. So it's Alex Vineyard on the interference penalty for the Flyers. Musel, screenshot off a skate wide. Puck flipped up high over the glass as one of the Buckeyes slides into the boards, far side. That's Charles Klenkar. Linesman Signs will drop the puck. Buckeyes clear, but knocked down at center by Matt Vild of Dayton, one of the seniors honored today on senior night. Puck taken away from Chittister by Ebersol. Shot just wide on a backhander. Ebersol, who scored earlier. Mentioned he's a big 6'6" with a long reach, and I tell you what, as for a defenseman, that's some great dimensions. You know, as a defensive player, one thing you like is some length to interfere with puck. Here's a shot by O'Leary of Dayton. Now a centering pass, but nobody's there, and the puck is cleared. Studnicka will shoot ahead for a teammate, his brother Studnicka. But the Buckeyes were able to clear it. 25 seconds left in the power play. Again, the Flyers need to take their time on the power play and settle things down and have some crisp passing and set up some nice plays. Here's a shot by Chittister wide. Vild holds it in at the right point. Vild lost it, and the puck tips away to center. Back come the Buckeyes. Chance, shot, save, rebound, and Studnicka down, but he's able to cover the loose puck on the rebound, and the penalty's killed off. The team's back at full strength with 14:38 left to play. And if these teams battle to a draw, we'll have to see if there is an overtime. That's something that might have to be a mutual decision between the two teams. Whether they would play in overtime or if it would end in a tie. Ohio State again in their all scarlet uniforms. Westall had it for a moment taken away. Flyers trying to get a tip in front, but right in harm's way in front is carried out for the Buckeyes. There's a shot glancing off the crossbar. There's a shot that hits Dayton player Kyle Kruger, looked like, in the face mask. And now a whistle as a Flyer player goes down, and it is that going to be, it looks like either Jordan Hoy or Jake Simarusti. It looks like Jordan Hoy for interference. It's number 15, Hoy. Hoy is going in for an interference minor. Or was that a hook? I don't know. I thought he signaled interference, but it might have been a hook. So another power play chance for the Flyers with a game tied up, a golden opportunity to tie things on this Saturday afternoon in the third period. So it was a hooking minor. So originally I thought the signal was interference, but it's changed to a hook. So 2 minutes for hooking for Jordan Hoy of Ohio State. Flyers, Studnicka. Poke checked away. Loose puck, Chittister. Chittister has it stabbed away. Chittister for Vild. Vild bumped off the puck. Vild bumped down. Puck cleared. Studnicka out of the net to set it up for teammate and brother Alex Studnicka. To Vild, left wing. Vild over the line. Shot off a stick over the glass. 55 seconds left in the Dayton man advantage. 12:47 to play in the third and final period. Dayton led 1-0 and 2-1, but the Buckeyes were able to score 2 unanswered goals and hold a 3-2 lead. Unable to hold the puck in at the right point was Ricky Phillips. Flyers have to circle back. Phillips at his own blue line. Pass for Trageser. Rink wide to Phillips behind him. He picks it up, dumps it in. Buckeyes wrap it right back down the ice. The Flyers in that second period had a two-man power play chance, but were unable to tie the game. And they only have 7 seconds left in this power play, and they're not going to score on this chance. Here comes working 1-on-4 is Ohio State's Alex Vineyard. Vineyard now cuts back, drops the puck off, comes loose. The Flyers were able to get it out of their own end. Played by Andrew Ebersol over to Gross. Sam Gross over the line, bumped off the puck by Langbine of Dayton. Buckeyes trying to make a play in front. Studnicka down at the post, and he covers. That was Vineyard. Tangling up with Dayton's Moises Palacios. Jack Henry Muha for Ohio State. Matt Vild for Dayton. Vild spelled V-I-L-D. One of our seniors today for the Flyers. Chittister pass intercepted, stripped right back by Eric Chittister. The other way, shot, save, rebound, loose in front, puck still loose, a shot, and waiting for it, waiting for the call. What is the call? The Flyers thought the puck was in the net, but it's waved off by referee Bob Grew. With his mask off, there's Nevin Dyer. Oh my gosh, it was Dyer down on the ice, no goal. As maybe the referees, I couldn't see if the puck went into the goal, if it did or not, but if it did, it may have been after the referees lost sight of it and called the play dead. But what a play by netminder Nevin Dyer of the Buckeyes to keep the puck out of the net, as a furious scramble by the Flyers as they smelled blood right in front of the Buckeye cage and desperately trying to tie the game up, and they nearly did. Pass for Langbine. He has to chase it down at center. Now it's picked up by the Buckeyes. Shantz, backhand, shot, save, rebound, another save by Studnicka. Centering pass intercepted by Eric Chittister of Dayton. Rink wide pass. Return pass to Vild. He was trying to get it back to Chittister, but is tied up along the boards. Now Chittister to Vild. Chittister, or rather Vild. Pass to Chittister, held in, shot, gloved. It was off the stick of Dayton's Kyle Kruger. The pass was intended for Chittister. It was over his stick, but held in, and a shot by Kyle Kruger, but gloved by Nevin Dyer. Musil for Dayton. Lost the draw. Revenu. Up ahead, Klemkar. Klemkar, rink-wide pass for Simarusti. Klemkar behind the net. Trying to center it. Comes to the center point. Now here, Lineberry. Along the far side now for Simarusti. He's checked. Nine and a half to play. Ohio State leading 3-2, but they score! They score! They score! On a shot from center ice that escapes The grasp of Nevin Dyer, and it rolls in behind him. Unbelievable! Holy cow, I can't believe it. Dyer made the stop, but the rebound just trickles in on end behind him, rolling into the Buckeye net, and we are tied up at 3. How do you like that? Wow. We'll see who gets credit on the goal. Make sure there were no tips or anything from that shot. We'll get an announcement on it. The Flyers turn. So it's Kyle Kruger. And there's a whistle, so Kyle Kruger with the shot to tie the game. As the crowd shouts Nevin in derision of netminder Nevin Dyer as the puck rolled in. Kyle Kruger, the 6'1" defenseman from Barrington, Illinois. And for Kyle, his 3rd goal of the season. Eight and a half to go. Now the Flyers looking to try to pull it out. Here's Gross's shot for Ohio State. Blocked. Another shot blocked off the stick of Graney of the Buckeyes. Flyers have to have a spring in their step after that fortuitous goal that just rolled in between the pads of Dyer, who looked like he had the long shot from center ice stopped, but it dropped and just rolled in behind him. There is big Ebersol ridden into the boards. Buckeyes clear their zone. Puck shot right back in by Dayton. Sam Gross for Ohio State. Checked. Can't get it out. Now the Buckeyes trying to kick it free. There is Shimko. Shimko. Shot. Blocked. Puck still loose. Twisting a shot. Saved by Studnicka. Nick Shantz turning, doing a 180 with a wrist shot. Now the other teams exchange shoves in front of the Dayton net. I don't know how things went in Columbus last night, but seemed to be some not so warm and fuzzy feelings between the two squads. Here's a centering pass for the Buckeyes, just wide of the mark with Studnicka down. The Buckeyes nearly retake the lead. Now for Ohio State, Salt, blast a shot off a stick wide. Another shot, pad save, Studnicka. Centered again, like the Flyers were able to intercept. Alex Studnicka clears. Flyers change on the fly after they've dumped the puck in deep to the Ohio State zone. Puck picked up by Salt. He drops it off. Puck cleared in by Jacob Clark of Ohio State. Flyers O'Leary tied up along the boards. Kicking it out was Trageser, long shot wide. O'Leary for Dayton. Shot, pad save by Dyer. 6 minutes to play in what's been an exciting game today here at the Kettering Ice Arena. There's Shantz, a shot. That's flipped up over the glass, or was that gloved by, I think that was up into the netting, and we'll have a face-off. Referee gets a new puck that flipped up over the netting and into the bleachers. 5:55 to go. Again, if the game ends in a stalemate, we'll have to see if we play overtime. I think that's, again, something that would have to be a mutual decision between the two teams to agree to do so. Puck off a stick down the ice. Icing waved off. Racing after it for Dayton is Barola. Trevor Barola crossing to center. As he's knocked down between two Buckeye players, and for Ohio State back is Klenkar. Stick handling through the defense. Klenkar around the net. Klenkar centers, it's off a stick, back comes Dayton. Matt Vild the other way, but he's working 1-on-4 and has it poke checked off of his stick. There for Ohio State, Gross, shot blocked by Studnicka. 5 minutes to go. Puck rolls back to the Buckeye blue line. There's a broken stick on the ice. Back deep in the Buckeye zone. Delayed offside. The Buckeyes unable to enter the attacking zone. Buckeyes Vineyard shoots to center ice for teammate Luha. Luha shot! And a stick save kicked out by Studnicka. Flyers in their own zone. It's Kruger who scored the tying goal. Puck shot down into the Buckeye zone. Back for Ohio State, Sam Gross. Gross has it poke checked away by Palacios of Dayton. Next shot down the ice. I thought that Ebersol could have played the puck, but icing is whistled down against Dayton. Clock stopped with 3:53 to go in this one, at least in regulation. Referee Wilkinson having a word with the Dayton bench. Under 4 minutes, there's a shot up over the glass by Jake Simarusti. And another face-off deep in the Dayton zone. This time, Jordan Hoy of Ohio State. Simarusti shot, stick save. Steered aside by Dayton netminder Jack Studnicka. Puck held in at the blue line by the Buckeyes' Questel. Now O'Leary clears for Dayton. Long shot by Shantz, blocker save. Here's a chance in front as Studnicka was down. Brown almost trying to score for the Buckeyes, but here's was tripped up and hit the ice. Long shot from the left point wide. As we approach the 3-minute mark left, centering pass intercepted by goaltender Studnicka, and he will hold on to it for a face-off to take some pressure off the Dayton net. It's Vild up front with Chittister of Dayton. As the Flyers trying to pull this game out. Puck rimmed along the dasher boards down the ice. Picked up for Ohio State by Lineberry. Outlet pass, Shimko now for Clark. Clark checked by Studnicka. There's a penalty coming up, it looks like. Delayed penalty against Ohio State. I believe. Let's see what's... It's actually Dayton's Alex Studnicka. The goal was scored incidentally by Kyle Kruger, I thought I mentioned that earlier. Kyle Kruger, we had mentioned somebody asking Kyle Kruger his third goal of the season. That was his shot, long shot from center ice that scored the tying goal for the Flyers. We appreciate everybody listening on the YouTube channel. We're glad we're able to interact in this way. Someone, a viewer was asking, hey, who scored that last goal? It was Kyle Kruger of Dayton. And from the face-off deep in the Dayton zone, back comes Chittister. Eric Chittister trying to work through the fence, has it checked away. Power play for the Buckeyes. Clark, shot, save, puck kicks free to center ice. Played by big Andrew Ebersol. Over for Charles Klinkar. Now for Clark, Jacob Clark. He's checked by Musel of Dayton. Back come the Flyers. They had a chance for a breakout, but back for the Buckeyes alertly is Charles Klinkar. A minute left in the Buckeye power play chance. Holding it in for a long shot wide off the stick of Nick Chance. Behind the net, Clark, he couldn't control it. Buckeyes clear the zone. After it is Nick Chance. He picks it up as it was set up by goaltender Nevin Dyer. Racing across center, Chance. He fans on a shot, trips up and hits the ice as he raced in on goal, but lost the handle before he could get the shot off. Here's a long shot. That's over the netting by the Buckeyes' Jake Simarusti. There's just 1 minute left in regulation on this in this contest. 19 seconds left in the Ohio State power play. From the draw, Buckeyes setting up a power play chance. Playing it is Salt. Here's Hakan Salt. Shot blocked on defense right in front. Power play killed off by Dayton. Back on the ice is Clark of Dayton. Team's at full strength as the puck is cleared. And it's going to roll right on goal, so no icing as it's covered up, and that's very important with 26 seconds left, because instead of an icing violation against Dayton and then taking the face-off way back in the Flyer zone, goaltender Devin Dyer of Ohio State has to cover the puck and hold it for a face-off in their own zone. So a chance with less than half a minute to go for the Flyers to get a face-off and a scoring opportunity deep in their zone. Ohio State bench having some conversation with the officials. Now a face-off deep in the Buckeye zone. Vild and Chittister. Chittister chased it down, couldn't control it. Flyers hold it in. Chittister trailing Hubbard. Puck center, Vild, it's good! He scores! Matt Vild on senior night gives the Buckeyes a 4-3 lead. Matt Vild with 10.5 seconds to play. The Flyers have come back in this one. And a timeout by the Buckeyes. So for Vild, his 10th goal of the season. Wow. So on senior night, Matt Vild, who was honored before the game, along with Jake Clark and Alex Studnicka. So Matt Vild at the 1950 mark. 10 seconds left in the third period. The game's not over. The Buckeyes will pull goaltender Dyer for a sixth attacker as they try to get a scoring chance to try to tie the game themselves in the last 10 seconds. Puck loose at the Buckeye blue line. Chittister, a long shot from center, is wide, but that's going to do it. The Dayton Flyers mob goaltender Jack Studnicka with a comeback 4-3 win. A great way to end the season for the Dayton Flyers. It's been a rough season, coming in at 2-18-0. The Buckeyes 13-5-0, 8th ranked in the region. But the Flyers come back, trailing 3-2 late into the third period. But goals by Kyle Kruger, and of course the goal by Kruger, really just a fortunate goal as he shot from center ice just beyond the Buckeye blue line at center. And the puck looked like it was trapped between the pads of goaltender Nevin Dyer, but it trickled in behind him. Puck just slowly rolled right into the Buckeye net for a stunning game-tying goal. And the Flyers, a pass from Chittister to Vild right in front. He's able to flip it up over the glove side of Dyer, and with just 10 seconds left in the game, Matt Vild gives the Flyers a 4-3 win. So my goodness gracious, we're gonna wait on, see if we can get shots on goal, which the Buckeyes were heavily in favor of the first period, 15-5. And then the Flyers came back and outshot the Buckeyes 12-11 in the second period. We'll see if we get shot stats for this third as they wrap things up with the scorer table. How do you like that? As the crowd, we had a good crowd on hand for this Saturday afternoon contest. And they get to see a stunning comeback by the Flyers, trailing at 3-2 midway through that third period. And then the Kruger goal from center ice, and Matt Vild on a senior night is able to a very memorable game, and not just against anybody, but against cross-state rival Ohio State Buckeyes, is able to plant one in the net on his last home ice appearance in a Dayton Flyer uniform. Wow. So going over the scoring for that third period, again, Kyle Kruger on that shot from center ice. For Kyle, his third goal of the season. And then Matt Vild, the game winner at 19:50 of the third period, his 10th goal of the season. He is the second leading scorer behind teammate Eric Chittister. Chittister scored himself the first goal of the game and his 22nd on the season. he opened the scoring in that first period. And then for the Buckeyes, it was Andrew Ebersol. He tied the game in the first period. And then in the second, Declan O'Leary opened the scoring for Dayton to give the Flyers a 2-1 lead. And then back came the Buckeyes, Sam Gross with a big shot to tie the game, and shortly after, Hakan Salt of the Buckeyes was able to score. And I mentioned that gave the Buckeyes a 3-2 lead that they led after 2 periods of play. Hakan Salt, incidentally, we didn't mention it when he scored, but he hails from Istanbul, Turkey. So that's something we didn't mention during the game broadcast, but young Mr. Salt, one of our players from overseas, as he hails from Istanbul, Turkey. And he gave the Buckeyes a 3-2 lead, which they held through the end of the second period and deeper into the third. But the Flyers, rather than the shot from center ice by Kyle Kruger that escaped in between the pads of netminder Dyer to tie the game at 3-piece, and then Matt Vild with 10.5 seconds to go in the game in regulation gives the Flyers a very exciting 4-3 win. Last game of the season, and here, of course, then last game on home ice for a memorable ending to what's been a tough season, a rebuilding season for the Flyers and our new coaching staff that's trying to establish a new culture and get a new pipeline of players coming in, and a great way to build some momentum for the 2020-21 season, as they'll be able to show some recruits what can happen in exciting games here at the Kettering Rec Center, and what happened this afternoon, a 4-3 UD win. So we're going to wrap things up for this Saturday evening contest. We appreciate everyone watching, whether you're a Flyer fan or a Buckeye fan. And we hope you'll join us as we plan to carry this Dayton Flyers hockey YouTube channel right into next season, and hope to do all of the home games next year and maybe some of the road games as well. That's the plan at this point. So we hope you'll join us next season right here on the Dayton Flyers YouTube channel. So once again, for engineer Jeff Duford, my name is Kent Jacobs, reminding you again the final score this afternoon: the Dayton Flyers 4 and the Ohio State Buckeyes 3. Thank you once again for joining us, and have a good afternoon here from Kettering, Ohio. Good night.